Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Motivational Monday. My name is Kira. I am your host for this beautiful series. And yes, I have bangs. New Kira, new Monday. And it's 11:11. If any of you are like even the slightest bit spiritual, then you know that it's a fun little day of resetting and of newness. And I feel like it's a great time to have a great conversation about belonging and fitting in and emotional intelligence and all of the things that we're diving into. So, as we have a few more people trickle in, I would love to hear in the chat how you're feeling today. And I'm really curious. Yes, I'm very curious about how you're feeling, but I'm also really curious about how Motivational Monday has been for you overall. And if there has been one of our sessions that we've had that keeps repeating in your mind. So, let me know in the chat. For me today, I'm feeling. Last week I was in it. Last week I was really in it. I was struggling. But today I'm feeling a little bit more grounded and a little bit more sure, and a little bit more confident and a little bit more clear. So that makes me really excited to know that. So we are going to dive right in. And we'll keep this maybe around 15-ish minutes. Obviously, it's 15 to 20 minutes. So I have a quote from Brené Brown, or not a quote. Well, I have a lot of quotes from Brené Brown that we'll be talking about, but I have a video of Brené Brown talking about the difference between belonging and fitting in. So last week we did avoidance, shame, and vulnerability, and I'll give us all a little recap on those. So, vulnerability are the emotions that we experience during times of uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. And vulnerability is really hard and challenging because we don't know the outcome. It requires us to show up in our fullness without knowing what's actually going to happen. And that, in and of itself, is really scary. And then we have shame accompanies vulnerability because shame is what so many people feel when they're asked to be vulnerable and they feel like their vulnerability makes them weak. But shame is the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love, belonging, and connection. And then avoidance is this energy of spending a lot of energy zigzagging around and away from the thing that already feels like it's consuming us. So those are the three that we talked about last week. If you would like to watch the recording, it's on our YouTube if you're watching the recording from our YouTube right now, or it's in the email that we sent out this morning as well, diving into those emotions and what it looks like. And we are going to dive into belonging and fitting in. So let me play this video. I'm going to share my screen. I really want to show you what Brené Brown says about belonging versus fitting in. Drop 111 in the chat if you have ever felt that feeling of I don't really belong here. Maybe I fit in, but I definitely don't belong here. Yeah. I remember when I moved to Asheville, I moved when I was 21 and I was ready to conquer the world and build my own life. My whole family took care of me my whole life and they were wonderful, but I was like, I need to prove to myself that I can do it. So I moved to Asheville from upstate New York and I was teaching yoga and I was starting to get into the community a little bit. And I remember being at a friend's house and looking at her and laughing with her and thinking in my head while I'm laughing out loud, wow, I have fun with you, but like you don't feel like my person. And it took me a lot of years of finding myself to find that sense of belonging with other people. So this video from Brené Brown is such a great video that will give you a little bit of perspective on what it means to belong versus fit in.
I was so shocked to learn in the research that the opposite of belonging is fitting in. Because fitting in is assessing a group of people and thinking, who do I need to be? What do I need to say? What do I need to wear? How do I need to act? And changing who you are. And true belonging never asks us to change who we are. It demands that we be who we are. Because if we fit in because how we've changed ourselves, that's not belonging. That's not belonging because you betrayed yourself
Mm.
for other people. And that's not sustainable.
I've watched this video a few times over this past week getting ready for this conversation. And when she says that fitting in is betraying yourself, that really, really hit me. Because it really is that moment of, am I enough as I am? Do I think that I'm enough as I am? Am I removing my opinions or my truths just to feel like I fit into this space and it's not a sense of belonging? So, with that, belonging is so important because love and belonging are irreducible needs for all people. We are a social species. We are meant to be around other people. And one of the wildest quotes that I've read was that you are 40% more likely to die of loneliness than you are of smoking a pack of cigarettes every single day for the rest of your life. So that shows that love and belonging and acceptance of who we really are literally gives us life and is so crucial and important to this life that we're living. And what happens is when we have the absence of love and belonging, we feel suffering. So that's why even in spaces where we feel like we might fit in, we're still suffering or having those thoughts in our mind of where are my people? Or we're noticing the places where maybe we didn't stick up for a belief that we have because we know that, or we feel like we're going to be challenged because of that, or where we didn't stand up for someone because the whole group wasn't, or the places where we tucked pieces of ourselves away because we thought that they were too much. We can't survive without each other. And I feel like that's why this idea of fitting in comes in, because we know that we need people and we would rather have someone around us than no one around us. But if you are sacrificing your own identity for that, then you become the no one, right? Because there's not that love, there's not that acceptance, there's not that trust in who you are. So therefore you mold and merge. So, the actual definition of belonging is the practice that requires us to get vulnerable, get uncomfortable, and learn how to be present with people without sacrificing who we are. That last part, learn how to be present with people without sacrificing who we are. Drop 222 in the chat if you have sacrificed who you are in past situations. I definitely have. And I have a question, and you can drop this in the chat, or maybe you just think about it. Where are the places that you've sacrificed who you are just to fit in? Is it at work? Is it with your family? Is it with your friends? Is it out in public? Is it on social media? Maybe it's in your relationship. Maybe it's in some acquaintances. Where are the places that you have sacrificed who you are just to fit in? All of the above. It can be really hard to be so self-assured. And it can be really hard to be so convicted in who you are. And the one thing that I'll invite you to do is the places that you this is work that I've had to do with my friends, and I coach and mentor a lot of people. I'm in a little hiatus from that, so I've actually been helping more friends just through their life things. And so many of the things that I see over and over and over are that people don't know their values. And you can drop 333 in the chat if that's you. Because once you know your values, all of the decisions that you make in life are very clear. And your values are those foundational things that guide you every single day in every decision that you make. I know my values. I know what's important to me, and it's why I have the ability to be so clear and concise about what it is that matters to me. It's also why I don't have to fight people on things. I know everyone has different value systems, and that's okay. And even in conversations that I've had to have, I've been in a little bit of a friend revolution this year where I've gotten really real with people of like, hey, you don't show up the way that I would like a friend to show up. And if you were a new friend, we wouldn't be friends. And I've had to be like, this is what I value in friendships. This is what matters to me. This is how I show up, and this is how I like people to show up. You can take it or you can leave it. Some of them took it and they were like, actually, I would love to love you like that. Some of them were like, there's no way that I can. And I was like, I know. That's why we're having this conversation. But it's because I knew my values that I was able to have those conversations, and I was able to be very clear and very concise and very direct about what I need and what I stand for and what I'm looking for. Yeah, a lot of you feel all of the above: social media, work, family. Exactly. So, one of a great book for that as well is Braving the Wilderness by Brené Brown. I read all of her books. She's amazing. There's an HBO special. I don't have HBO Max. There's an HBO special. I'm about to get HBO Max just to watch it. And it's on Atlas of the Heart so that I can have even more Brené Brown's wisdom. So I just love her. Braving the Wilderness by Brené Brown is a phenomenal book about how to not make yourself small in a world where everyone has such big opinions and wants to label you and identify you by them. I'm going to drop that book name in the chat for you. True belonging does not require us to change who we are. It requires us to be who we are. And a lot of people are looking for belonging by hustling for approval or fitting into others' expectations. And I've done both of those. And neither of them are fulfilling. And both of them will feel you leaving empty and whole. That hustling for approval, the second that you stop hustling, you're no longer worth something to someone. I have been a commodity to people. I have been the thing where my actions and my accolades were more important than who I was as a person. And when I slowed down and realized that, I was like, these are not people that appreciate me and value me. I gotta go. If people don't know who we are or what we value or think, then there's no belonging. And this doesn't just stem from how other people perceive us, this stems from how we show up. You will find out very quickly who your people are when you're very clear on who you are and what you stand for and where you're going and what matters to you and what you love and what you don't love. This quote I read maybe 2 years ago, a year, 2 years ago. And it says, your sense of belonging, listen to this. Your sense of belonging can never be greater than your sense of self acceptance. If you don't accept who you are and what matters to you and where you're going and what your values are, you're not going to belong anywhere. And one of the quotes that, so Brene Brown brought this study to eighth graders, and she had them write on a poster board what belonging means to them. And in the book, Atlas of the Heart, the book that we're discussing, that goes through all 87 human emotions, when most people can only identify three: happiness, sadness, and madness, she put them here. And it says, belonging is being somewhere where you want to be and they want you. Fitting in is being somewhere where you want to be, but they don't care one way or the other. Belonging is being accepted for you. Fitting in is being accepted for being like everyone else. If I get to be me, I belong. If I have to be like you, I fit in. And then a lot of it has to do with when your parents don't pay attention to your life, things along those lines. So even at home, we might not feel like we belong. And one last quote I'll share about belonging before we start shutting this down is, this is what Brene Brown shared in Braving the Wilderness. She says, we want to be a part of something. to experience real connection with others, but not at the cost of their authenticity, freedom, or power. Participants further reported feeling surrounded by us versus them cultures that create feelings of spiritual disconnection. When I dug deeper into what they meant by spiritually disconnected, the research participants described a diminishing sense of shared humanity. Over and over, participants talked about their concern that the only thing that binds us together now is shared fear and disdain, not common humanity, shared trust, respect, or love. Reluctant to choose between being loyal to a group and being loyal to themselves, but lacking the deeper spiritual connection to shared humanity, they were far more aware of the pressure to fit in and conform. So those might be some of the places where you're experiencing challenges too. So that's it on love and belonging. My intention with Motivational Monday, I'll tell you this every week, is for these conversations to be something that continues to ripple out into your world and that continues to play in your mind and give you things to think about throughout the weeks, months, days, years, whatever, maybe in conversations that you have. And I hope that Motivational Monday has been beneficial for you and that you've been enjoying it. And if you are enjoying it, tell the people that you work with about it and let them know that you're on Motivational Monday and this woman is teaching about all of these things and that it's helping you grow. And maybe share a little bit of your experience and let them know that there's a space for them to show up and a space to grow because that is really important. And if you're getting value from it, then someone else will as well. And my whole intention of this is for us to have a space where we can all show up and where we matter and where we can learn and where we can grow. And that should be shared with the people who are in your life that you're like, you could benefit from this. Someone could benefit from this. So we are life guides. We are a benefit that your employee purchased where you get to have the support from someone who's going through something very similar as you to help you navigate through your life. A lot of coaching, a lot of therapy, people don't get to talk about their real lived experience in relation to yours and how they can grow. And with Life Guides, you pick from our main categories and then you get connected to a series of guides who match what you're looking for. And then you get to talk to them and they get to help you through life. One of my guides is coming back today after 2 months, and I'm so excited to talk to her. I'm so excited. I look forward to my conversations with my guides more than any conversation that I have throughout the week. And I've got really amazing people whose conversations I love to have, but just having that guidance and that support is really, really important. So, for those of you who are interested in using the service for Life Guides, we have our link here in the chat for you. You can sign up for our Connect event. We have our Connect event this week. We'll be talking about financial well being, which is a topic that tends to bring up a lot of shame, but we're working on getting vulnerable with that and changing our financial situation and putting ourselves in a better position than ever before. So that is on Wednesday. The link is in that link tree. You can schedule your call with your guide in that link tree as well. And there will be a survey that pops up after this. Please fill it out. And we hope that if you have any needs that you're looking to have addressed, that you can find a guide and that you can grow with us. And outside of that, we're doing emotional intelligence all of November. So we'll be talking about different emotions next week. And if there's anything specific that you're wanting to dive into, you can just answer it in the survey and we'll be able to drop in that way as well. Okay, everyone, have the most beautiful Monday. I will talk to you soon. Enjoy your week, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.